Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Metaverse Masterminds, episode 13. And this evening, guys, we've titled this episode Understanding the Gift of Being Wealthy. And I do believe every member here that's viewing this program this evening would like to be wealthy. But do you really know what it is to become wealthy? Well, this evening we have a special guest joining us, who's going to talk to us about what his perception of being wealthy is. But before we do that, I just want to have a quick run through the panel that we've got online. I just want to make sure that Buddykins has joined us because it looks like she's dropped out. Let me just add her to there. There we go. All right. Okay, to start off with, we've got, and let me think, Elite Star Lord Winnie Skibbs. You've changed your name, Winnie. How are you doing?
I'm good. I thought I'd used my whole title. That's how I want to be called now. Thank you.
Absolutely. How's the weather down there, Winnie? It's absolutely freezing up here. Has been all day.
It's chilly. Yeah, frosty.
Yeah, we've had the frost on the ground all day today, and it's not warming up one bit. Apparently, we've got it for 3 days, so it's time to wrap up. Also, who we've got, I'll be back with you in a second, Winnie. Also, we've got Private Buddykins.
I'm not connected, sorry.
You're not connected. We've got a frozen screen here. Okay. And then in a few minutes, we'll bring on our special guest, Mr. Peter Nelson. I'm just looking in the back office and we're having a few problems with connection somewhere. So I'm going to get on and just do a little bit of a update while everybody logs out and logs back in. Hopefully everything will be okay. All right, guys. Well, what a week it's been. Up and down all through the platform. Things seem to have ironed themselves out over the last 24 hours. There has been a big upgrade. And a couple of things to look at, which I'm going to show you after we have our special guest on, because we're quite time sensitive this evening. So we're going to turn things around a little bit. I want to bring Winnie on. Is the special guest ready, Winnie?
Should be. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've turned the button on to bring him on in the studio. There we go. We've got... Right, Winnie, would you like to introduce the special guest this evening?
Yes. This is my beloved husband, Peter, my husband of 28 years and my best friend of 30 plus years, who we've invited to come and talk about money and wealth and anything that seems appropriate.
That's awesome. And good evening, Peter, and welcome to Metaverse Masterminds. How are you, sir?
Hello, I'm happy, thank you.
Excellent. It's an absolute pleasure and honour to have you on the show this evening, Peter. We have spoken middle of the week, and what you've spoke to me about regarding wealth and your interpretation of money was absolutely mind-blowing. And I've got to thank you from all of the Bureau members for coming on the show this evening and talking to our viewers. So if you feel ready, Peter, please fire away.
Right, okay. Well, Winnie has introduced me. What qualifies me to speak about wealth was something that I thought I should talk about first of all. Well, I've been studying money from a psycho-spiritual background for over 30 years. And I would say that I'm in a position in my life where I am one of the wealthiest people I've ever known. I haven't got a great deal of money, but I have enough. What am I going to talk to you about tonight? Well, this started a couple of weeks ago when Winnie and I were talking to an old friend about I'm just getting used to calling it Dowversal, not Diversal, as I thought it was. And he asked a very good question, which I had asked Winnie some weeks ago. He said, how does Diversal make its money? And it set me and Winnie off in a conversation, and it was then that she suggested, or she asked if I'd come on this show and talk about the things that we talked about then, about what is money, and that must lead to what is wealth, because people use those terms interchangeably, but they are not the same thing at all. Now, how does Diversal make money? Well, from what I understand, it's just like every other form of money. It makes money by people talking to each other. Now, there's a misperception that money is about products and services. This is not the case. Money is about agreements between people. Even the very money itself, you must remember, written at least on the UK currency, if it is still there, I'm not sure. I promised to pay the bearer the sum of £1 of gold. It's a hangback of the days when gold was still used as a measure of currency, which ended in the 30s in this country and in the USA a long time ago. And now, of course, it's fiat money that the government uses. I'll talk about that again in a little bit. So money is not a thing. Money is made by exchanging. The richest people in the world don't actually create anything. They persuade other people to create things, and they make money by finding someone to sell it to. Essentially, I know that's a really gross simplification of the process, but essentially that's what I believe is going on with most money. Is or what I observed, that the richest people that I've met haven't really done a great deal. They've just they've got other people to make the money for them. Now, to me, money, as an historian, actually, I was trained as an historian. Money is about state control. That's what it's for. Throughout history, the first thing a new government has done to legitimize itself is to create its own currency. And that currency means that the people within that culture have to use that money in order to make money, and the government gets a little bit of every exchange that happens. And that doesn't necessarily happen in terms of them getting a little piece of taxation, but they get a little bit of power and control over the situation at any rate. I said something to Winnie today that made her laugh. I said, all business is a Ponzi scheme. That's that word Ponzi. I know you don't like that, because people have accused various crypto systems of being Ponzi schemes. Well, I'd say they are, because all money is a Ponzi scheme, because it has no value. I'll leave you to think that through for yourselves as to why that follows. But you see, it's if you link what I said about that the money doesn't have any intrinsic value and isn't actually a thing, but it's created by people talking to each other, and you think about the flow of money from one person to another, as it is nothing in itself. It never actually creates anything. In fact, from my point of view, what I've learned in my own life, I find it quite insulting that my energy, what I can do, cooking is one thing I do, for instance. It's quite insulting to try and trade that for money, because money isn't real. Money doesn't actually do anything. I'd rather exchange it for some services. Anyway, we will live a long way from that world. Now, of course, money only has value when we spend it. People who like to acquire a lot of money. My goodness, I once knew a multimillionaire who was our landlord. He was quite in approval of the various handouts to banks that they were giving in this country when these banks were failing, and thought that bankers worked so hard that they needed these extra millions. This was the hungriest man I've ever seen. Despite all his millions, he had this look in his eye of like a predator, like a starving predator in the desert. Not a happy man. Right, I mentioned fiat money. Here's a quotation from a website that teaches about stock exchange and how trading is done. It says, fiat money is the currency of a government, which is not backed by a commodity, but has value because the government has determined that it does, that it must be accepted as a form of payment. Well, remember what I said about control? It must be accepted as a form of payment. And also I mentioned this concerning crypto. Now, I don't know as much about Dalversal as most of you, I think. Winnie tells me things and I don't understand them. But I know a little bit about crypto and what it represents and how it works. And to my mind, there's absolutely no difference whatsoever between cryptocurrency and fiat money. It's all about what we think it is. It has the value that we decide it does. I've got here in my notes that I did before this talk. Isn't this a protection racket? Isn't money a protection racket? Well, again, I'm not going to explain that in detail, but take that thought and run with it to see what you think. Well, that's some bare bones about money. What is wealth? Now, I said earlier, I think that money and wealth, in my opinion, are not the same thing at all. I would say that wealth is a feeling of sufficiency. And it's independent of what numbers of theoretical currency exist. You don't have to be rich to be wealthy. As I say, I'm not rich in monetary terms. I'm okay, but I am wealthy. I'm wealthy because my time is my own, and I eat like a king. We grow a lot of produce in our garden, and we cook it ourselves. So our diet is as good as it could be, no matter how much money you had. Wealth, I would say, is characterized, where you can recognize wealth, is an absence of greed. Because when you're wealthy, you have enough, and there's no need to acquire any more. Could the same be said about people who wish to acquire a lot of money? I don't think so. So a question you have to ask yourself is, do you want money or do you want wealth? And I think perhaps a little bit of faith is needed in your own thoughts, faith in your own thoughts, not in some abstract, but faith that you can be satisfied. I believe a feeling of wealth comes from deciding that you're wealthy, just like the fiat currency, really. Its value is what you say it is. But one of the marvelous things about wealth is that you don't have to do anything for it. You simply have to be wealthy. And then the same can't be said of money. Have you noticed that the people that you know with the most money spend a great deal of time making sure they have more of it and worrying about it? I don't like that idea at all. It's a lot of work. I remember I have another great friend. His brother does interior design for Hollywood stars. Now my friend said he used to go to loads of parties in America, in New York and stuff with these Hollywood stars, and he was alarmed by just how expensive their lifestyles were. That they had to get $1 million, contracts for their films because their expenses were so enormous. It's another characteristic of having a lot of money is that your bills get a lot higher. Now, I think that crypto is a step in taking control of money because it takes it out of the hands of governments. Now, governments aren't going to be very happy about that, are they? So they'll resist it as much as they can. And I hope plenty of you agree or have noticed that governments have no ethics whatsoever. They will lie and cheat and steal to ensure their own continuation, despite what you want. So don't be surprised that governments... I understand there's something going on in America at the moment about Binance. Winnie was telling me earlier on that the US government are trying to destroy... Well, they're not trying to destroy crypto. They're trying to get into their hands, of course, because they want crypto as much as the rest of us. But what they don't like about it is the fact that it's in the people's hands, not their own. And And something I've written in my notes here that I wanted to say to you is, don't be surprised by the government's point of view. They are basically, governments have a mental age of about 3 or 4 years old. In human terms, they act like selfish little teenagers who just, to toddlers who acquire whatever they touch, whatever they see. No, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Don't be surprised by how immature they are. We don't all have to behave like that, of course. You'll certainly find that most people will follow the culture that they live in and be just as immature about wealth and think that what they need to do to be wealthy is to just acquire as much as possible. And then, we watch them be poor of heart. You can't change that. You can't force people to grow up. Because growing up and deciding to be wealthy is a decision. It's not a series of actions that you must do. Now, sparse as that all is, that's all that I want to say, really. And I know I've missed out enormous amounts, but we'd have to sit and share a cocktail together. I like martinis. And talk for hours to explore all the issues that are brought up today. But perhaps you'll listen back to what I've said and don't take it on board. Think about it. See where those thoughts carry you, because it's your own thoughts that matter. Okay.
Peter, thank you very much indeed for that, because it's very, very thought-provoking. And something I'd like to add to it is that, in my opinion, wealth differs greatly amongst different cultures, amongst different countries, and that's based in their society, how governments have created different societies on how we're meant to follow suit. And you hit the nail right on the head, where you said that governments impose monies for control rather than wealth. You're absolutely right. And wealth, in my opinion, is a very personal decision. It's a personal achievement, if nothing else, because you like I say, you hit the nail right on the head, because wealth in my lifestyle is nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with what I've got in the bank and my ability to spend money. That's not wealth in my life either. Wealth in my life, if people could see the way me and Private Buddykins live, they'd be quite surprised, because we've been in the crypto space for nearly 3 years now, quite successful considering the bear market and all the problems that we've suffered in the platforms that have gone by. But it doesn't bother us one bit. We don't need any more than what we've got today, realistically. Okay, so we do look at ourselves and we consider ourselves to be wealthy, because wealth comes, it's on par with satisfaction, I believe. If you're satisfied with things in life, then surely you've got to be wealthy in that respect. So I know Trucker Fletch, I'm sure Trucker Fletch is itching to speak on this one, because Chris is very, open-minded regarding wealth and finance. Chris, are you unmuted? Can you speak?
Yeah, certainly can, yeah.
Yeah, what do you think to Peter's talk this evening, regarding his perception of wealth?
Absolutely spot on. I think if a lot more people in the world realised that, then the greed at the top would collapse. It really would collapse. And then everything will be on a more level playing field. You wouldn't have your rich up here and your poor down there.
Peter, can I ask you a question? What's your perception of greed? What does greed, what's the purpose of greed? Because there's so many people at the top, when you look at the global elite, for instance, that are in control of, the masses. What do you think the purpose of greed is, other than control, of course? on a psychological level, do you think it has a big part to play?
The purpose of greed is to create more greed.
Yeah, so it is an ongoing. It's like a snowball effect, I guess.
It does nothing or nothing else whatsoever. Greed just makes more greed.
So we could class it as an addiction, then maybe.
Yeah. What's the word? It's schizophrenic.
Sorry?
Greed is a form of schizophrenia.
Right. Okay.
It creates nothing but itself.
Yeah.
That's its only
because
purpose.
I mean, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's its only purpose. Greed's only purpose is to perpetuate itself. There are many what we call negative, although that don't really like that word, but there are many harmful states of mind whose only existence is to continue themselves. But there is an illusion that we like to sustain, that they achieve something. For instance, whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger. The nature doesn't bear that out at all. If you damage an organism, it becomes weaker. If you break your leg will never be as strong again. So this notion that whatever kills me makes me stronger, whatever doesn't kill me makes me stronger, it's a continuation of the Protestant work ethic. And the Protestant work ethic, which exists in many other cultures in slightly different terminology, is one of the ego's greatest triumphs. Because it convinces us that in some way we have to work to experience happiness.
Yeah.
Now, some great wit years ago, I can't remember who it was, said if work was so great, the rich would have kept it for themselves.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. Goodness me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to meet Mark Twain? I'd have loved to have met Mark Twain. What a great dude. He also said there have been thousands of terrible things in my life. One or two of them have happened.
Yeah. I got caught in that trap, like many other people did in, younger, early 20s. I got caught in that trap terribly because, like I explained, I'll explain to the viewers, because me and Peter and Winnie had this conversation in the week when we spoke on Zoom. It is a trap. It's a terrible trap to get involved in, and you don't realize it until it's too late, I think, because what happened to me, this was with my first marriage. I was holding 3 jobs. Between ourselves, we was on over £1,000 a week. We had 2 cars, and that was take home. That wasn't top line. That was take home. We were only renting, so we didn't have a mortgage or anything like that. We never ate at home. It was always in restaurants. Right. We had a lavish, I know. Disgusting. We had a lavish, or what I would consider to be a lavish lifestyle back then.
I would have considered you to have a very poor lifestyle.
But the result of it was catastrophic.
Yeah.
It was disastrous. It was terrible. My mental health was shot to bits. It took me years to repair the damage that was caused by trying to, and there's a common saying over in England here, keeping up with the Joneses, where you try and fit in. Okay, it doesn't work, guys. It doesn't work. I tried that, and deep down, believe it or not, deep down, I knew it. But there's this, you look at media and you look at society, and there's this expectation that you are supposed to do this, do that, do the other. Guys, it was the worst thing that I ever did in my life, because like I said, for years it took me to recover. And like I say, to be fair, I don't think that ever will leave me. It causes immeasurable damage. Trucker Fletch, I saw the finger, mate. Go ahead. No problem.
Yeah, I'm learning instead of putting in. I put my finger up. Please, miss.
It's frozen up.
You was on about that just now. Can you remember the conversation we had the other night when we was adding up if we could make money out of the coins and this, that, and the other? And I turned around to you and I said, if we were millionaires, what we're going to do with it? because we've never had this money, so we wouldn't even know what to do with it. Provided we're comfortable, we've got food on the table, I've got fuel in my car and my van. Kev's gone. What would we do with the money? Because we've never had it, so we wouldn't honestly know how to spend it, because there's only so much that you could actually spend. And me and my daughter, we watch documentaries, a lot of documentaries. And we've seen some documentaries recently where millionaires have died, and all the stuff's left in the house or in the mansion, and it's just material things, and it doesn't mean anything.
No.
But honestly, in all honesty, there is only so much you could actually spend before you get bored with it and you just start throwing it away.
Well, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind £1 million. You know, I'm sure I could find something to do with it, but I don't.
But would you be able to spend it all? Would you be able to spend it all?
Oh, easily. I could spend it tomorrow.
Yeah, just excuse me, guys. I'm just trying to unfreeze these webcams because I've got a frozen display. Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, we can see you. We're all jumbling around like those puzzles where you go.
Yeah, it's actually you, Winnie. Can you close your webcam can you close your webcam and reopen it?
Is that better?
No, you're still frozen to me, so I don't know what.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the news. It's been on the news last couple of days that we're getting some solar flares coming across from the sun, and it could be that's playing up with it, you know, in all honesty.
Okay, you're back. I've got you. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
Just had a bad connection. Everybody was frozen. I could see you, but I couldn't see anything moving about. So hopefully that's resolved now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Peter, it's absolutely fascinating subject, and you know, you explained that you don't know a lot about crypto, but it is very relevant. It really is, because you hit on the note of the value of crypto.
Yeah.
And the value of crypto, in my opinion, is how much the member actually believes it to be valuable. Okay. We did hit on this in the week when we spoke as well. If people know the history about money, when you go right back through the ages, I do believe it started with rocks and stones. Where people used to trade with stones and pebbles, you know, and the bigger the pebble, the more valuable that would be. And you look at, what was it somebody said the other day? That was it. They said, how can a planet be valuable? Who the hell made that valuable? We're referring to Dalversal, the pixelated planet, you know, the thing that you see on the screen, which is just dots. Yeah. Well, work it out, guys. It's because it's a belief that it's valuable. Okay. Now, if that valuable planet creates more valuable coming back to you, then it strengthens that belief. Absolutely. And the more people that do it, the better that is. Now, this is something, this is quite interesting, actually. Trucker Fletch, you're there. Can you remember a conversation we had about, I would say it was about 5 months ago, when we was talking about the HU tokens in Hyperverse? Because I said, because at the time we didn't know whether there was going to be a recovery program. It's maybe a little bit longer, actually, because it was before Satoshi AI came on board and offered the FRA. So it's before all these rescue ideas were brought to the table. And I said to Trucker Fletch, because he said, look, you know, I've got a very large amount of HU here. Is it ever going to pay out? And I said, well, that depends on whether anybody sees it as value. Because otherwise it is literally just a bag of numbers, really. So I said, in order for it to be paid out, from anybody, whether that was Hyperverse, Hypernation, Satoshi AI, or Dalversal, which we didn't know about at the time. I said they've got to consider those numbers, those tokens, to be of value in some way, shape, or form. Now, that might confuse a few viewers, but it doesn't for me. And I dare say it doesn't for Peter or Winnie or Chris too. Because what Dalversal have looked at is that big bag of numbers, and they've linked the value to that big bag of numbers. They've called that the TFA program. Okay, that's the way that they can exchange that value. They can give you value in exchange for your, what Peter and me spoke about, the sweat equity. It's your ability to come onto the platform, press a few buttons, have a look round, maybe join in the land plot sales, the planet plot sales, and so forth. Because what you're doing then is creating value to Dalversal. So it's an exchange of value. Okay. So, Chris, going back to 4 or 5 months ago, maybe longer, can you see now what I meant by somebody somewhere along the way will see those numbers of some form of value? That's exactly what's happened with Dalversal.
You want me to talk?
Yeah, you're there. I didn't know whether you was muted.
Yeah, sorry, mate, I'm miles away. Yeah, I can. And at the time when we were doing the rebuy-in on the
Hyperverse,
I looked at it and it was only like 2-second job. Press the button, chuck it back in. Press the button, chuck it back in. And I'm scratching my head thinking, why? Why? We're not actually doing anything. But as daft as it sounded, it still takes, even me, it still takes a lot of scratching my head and thinking, really? Just for 2 seconds of my time, just pressing a button and making numbers add up? It still I still blows my head away thinking that these numbers on the screen, all they've done is press a few buttons. It's like getting your calculator and adding it up. It's actually made value, and it takes some sinking in.
Okay, what I'm going to add to this then, let me just bring my camera down a bit. What I'm going to add to this then is the pioneers, the people that have joined Dalversal from Hyperverse and Hypernation, at some point must have known and understand that what they were creating was value. They didn't know what it was, but they made some form of connection to say that those Hyperverse units were a token of exchange. Okay, even though, in fact, hang on a minute, I'm thinking back. There was a campaign in Hypernation at one point where they said something along the lines of, let me get this right. It was something like, keep going. You'll never be left behind, but keep going and you will make it and you won't regret it. It was something along those lines. So basically what they were saying then is you will get the exchange of value with them. Just keep looking after those tokens, because let's face it, guys, without them HU, HB, Hyperbond tokens and that, where's the value? We had nothing and we have nothing. So given that situation, those tokens that were in Hyper Community, those tokens that were in Hyper Community were of value. All we had to do is, that was our receipt to say we'd been doing what we were doing, staying in touch, staying as a community, although it was very split across those months. Yeah. There was teams of us that was waiting for that information to continue and get to Dalversal. It could have been anyone, but Dalversal was the result of what we were aiming for. We were making value as we were going along. So we did everything right. Everything right. Go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
When you come into the crypto world, people say, oh, how can you make money out of nothing? When you take a step back and you look into, well, it's making money out of nothing, isn't it? When you take a step back and you think, well, why do we believe that the Bank of England and all these other banks, what's theirs based on? Honestly, it was based on gold, but I mean, I remember, was it the last Parliament or whatever it was, somebody took over and there was a little note in the desk, it's all gone, we've spent it all. When you look at things like that, What are they making the money out of? Piece of paper, waggle a piece of paper that's worth 20 quid. I could hang that on the back of the toilet door. It's still worth the same amount. It's worth nothing. So
Okay.
how can they turn around and say that their money is worthy and ours isn't? Because when you look at it, all theirs is built up on promise, on promise, on promise, on promise. And this is why the American currency is failing. This is why the UK and most of Europe's is failing, because it's all built on false promises.
Right. Okay. This is a good point to come to our next part of this, which Peter's going to help me with. Right. I had a very dear friend who sadly passed away now, who got sent to prison for money laundering, printing money. Okay. Very naughty thing to do. But basically what it was, and this proves what Peter said in his talk, that government-based money is a form of control. Okay. Now, that question would be then, okay, so can you exchange anything with somebody else as a form of value, an exchange of value? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I could say, okay, then I've got an e-scooter worth £150. And because I owe my friend something, I'm going to give them as a token of exchange until I've got the money, and then they can swap it back. So it's a valuable asset. Okay. Now, this is what I want to get to. That guy got sent down, okay, because he was copying a Bank of England note. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, there are rules and regulations, but does that mean that we can't print our own money? Now, Peter knows of such a thing that is legal, lawful. I do believe it's called the Lewis pound note. Is it, Peter?
The Lewis pound, yes.
Okay, there you go. Winnie's got a few of these Lewis pound notes. Peter, can you tell the viewers a little bit about the Lewis pound?
Well, the Lewis pound is simply a local currency. There are a few towns in Britain who have this. I know that Bristol does. And the Lewis pound is accepted by those who choose to accept it. So, for instance, our local weekly market, they can pay for their stalls with it. We can buy anything we like from the market with it. Our local whole food shop takes it as well. So that's the banks don't, the supermarkets don't, because they're national. But there are quite a few other small businesses within the town that accept the Lewis pound, and it's equal to the British pound on a one-to-one basis. It's been going for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's been going for quite a while.
Is it that long? Could be, yeah.
Yeah, for quite a while.
Yeah.
Lewis is one of those towns in Britain which has a very strong sense of well, one of the town's mottos is "We won't be druv."
Yes. Thomas Paine was a bit of a dude, wasn't he?
Yes, Thomas Paine lived here before he went over to America.
Yeah, he kicked
although he worked for the local government, actually.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Bristol has its own currency as well, like this.
Yes.
Is this a form of receipt of bartering?
Yeah.
Well, I would class it as a token between the two barterers, if you like, because one's got a service, another's got a service, but they don't want that service at the same time. I think when you spoke about this in the week, where she gained a lot of tokens, but she had nothing in return regarding, or not many people wanted her services. So in that respect, it's a token of exchange.
Well, that was the Bright system. The Bright system is what's commonly called a let system. Which didn't involve currency of any kind. It was an attempt to set up a sort of an open-ended system of exchange of wealth, and I think it still exists. But the main problem with it was that people who could expect to get very well paid with currency, like plumbers and carpenters, were very hard to get hold of. But if you wanted babysitting or a bit of typing done, easy.
Yeah, so it's quite a hard thing to implement then. With
Well, as long as
regard,
for anything highly paid like plumber.
yeah, yeah. So with regards to the Lewis pound, it must be over 15 years, because when we went off grid in Hereford, that's going back some years now, and it'd been well established before then. So talking about the Lewis pound, did they have any problems with the government allowing it though? Because this is one of the big hurdles that everybody would expect. It's about allowing it, and the same applies for crypto, because in reality we could do that with crypto as well if enough people believed it to be that token of exchange with value. So was there a lot of resistance from the government when they introduced, because it's not the government backed, is it? This is a local residential pound, is that right?
Yeah. Tell you
Yeah,
what,
so did the government try and stop it?
We'll talk to them and see if one of them would like to come on and talk to you. Come on your show.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss
That would be
Patrick.
extremely interesting,
Yeah,
because like I said, I am very pro crypto in the street, if you like, where people are not afraid to speak about it, because the problem with the national media is at the moment they are trying to turn members of the public against crypto, even in adverts. They're making it look like crypto is the worst thing that anybody can do.
Well, they're just trying to devalue it so they can buy it all.
Exactly, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pro CBDC that can be programmed to their rules and commands, know. So yeah, this is why they don't like the decentralized world. So yeah,
it's just like alcohol and those other non-governmental drugs. Alcohol's fine because the government takes a cut, but those other things that you grow yourself and maybe no. They're bad for you.
them horticultural things that you can grow in the garden that
I've heard
nature provides.
I mean, I wouldn't know, but I've heard of
It's those non-taxable drugs.
The non-taxable.
Right,
non-taxable medicine.
So yeah, I mean, going back, I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat room, because this really good conversation. It's frozen because it's so cold, Kev. It absolutely is, Adam. It's freezing in the UK. It'd be nice to know what people's point of view is regarding this, because it fits in so well with crypto and what we're doing in this platform, but very few people talk about it. And we've been indoctrinated to not resist anything that goes against the flow of government and everything that they've brought our way. If we're living in times, and I'm not going to say the word, otherwise I'll get my YouTube channel taken down, but the medical intervention that everybody was supposed to take, you start speaking against things like that, and before you know it, you've got the whole world on your shoulders. So I think it's been an absolute brilliant evening to talk about something so and I'm going to say critical, because when you look at the global financial problem that everybody is facing now, we've got to act. We've got to act, and we've got to look after number one, because I think we can all agree in here that our governments are not playing in our favor. They haven't been for years. And this has been a very, very long game of chess that they've been playing. A game of chess that we never got the rules to. Let's face it, we didn't know the game that they were playing, but we're starting to find out the game that they are playing. Go ahead, Chris.
I found out some very interesting information from Mr. V, shall we put his name in, on YouTube. The guy that has a funny eye and he at the moment has discovered the amount of corruption in the CTAX that people pay.
Oh, right,
and I've been looking into that as well. I'm not saying too much, but what I've discovered, our local council are up to there in it.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. And all it is control. And when people wake up and realise that, hang on, they're not in control.
That's right.
That's when the whole world's going to turn round.
They're only in control when we vote them in. People have to realise that the process of how they've got there in the first place needs looking at first. Because while that process still continues, then they'll just continue doing what they're doing. There's
also something else in the news, and I was absolutely gobsmacked today when I read it. A friend of mine posted earlier on a certain book that there's another control at the moment. They're trying to force everybody into panicking because they're saying it's not an old Monia, it's a new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
And it's not an old Monia. And the not Doctor Who, not the Doctor off, and not the Doctor Who, on their website where they're telling everybody, oh, you've got to get this medical intervention, the amount of people that are kicking back and saying none of this, it's like, wow, I think we could be at the point where we're going over the mountain and everything will start to work out.
Well, this is what I meant by the time that we're at now is crucial, because it's not just about finances, it's about the whole, society. We're hearing now that councils are going bust because they are a company, and when the money's gone and they can't replace it, this is what's going to happen. So I think crypto has got a very good place in people's lives. But regarding the Lewis pound, I think that's crucial as well. The physical, and we spoke about this last week as well. Is this maybe why crypto's having the difficulty to become mainstream? Because it's a virtual thing. It's something that you see on your phone or on your laptop. It's not like the pound that Winnie's just shown us where you can hold it in your hand. It takes a lot for people to understand that, to grasp that sense and say, well, I've got nothing in my hand, but it's valuable. How can that be? How can that be? If I can't hold it in my hand, there's no value at all. So yeah, I get it. I get why crypto is quite difficult to, get into the flow of people's lives. Right, guys, we're going to move on. Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And, if you can do that, if you can have a word with somebody and get them to come on the show, I'd be highly delighted. How about you, Winnie? Can I leave you, Winnie, to arrange that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because Winnie's the nominated bureau member to arrange for our special guests, and that would be fantastic. Because we like to discuss these things in an open forum. Hopefully, we can get members who are watching this to put their point of view forward as well. Hopefully join us in the studio, because like I've said before, guys, this show's about community. If you want to come on the show and you want to have your say, talk to Winnie. Winnie's there, and we'll go ahead and we'll try and do that. Okay, Peter, thank you so much for coming on the show this evening. It's been a pleasure, and please do work on that, and let's see if we can get somebody to come on. Okay?
May your God go with you, as an Irishman once said. Okay. Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Right.
Bye.
Kev, something's just crossed my mind.
Oh.
The difference between that and that.
Yeah.
I heard on the news today that our Barclays Bank in Scunthorpe and in Grimsby are both going to be closed.
Yes.
So everything is going to be done on here.
Yeah.
So is this the time that people are going to be realising that, hang on, all that banking's done on here and crypto's done on here, then a penny's going to drop, that the same thing is working? If you know what I mean? Instead of going into the bank and putting a piece of metal or a piece of paper that you can write, because the banking, I don't know if you can see my phone, my banking app's on there. We don't go into the bank.
That's
so
right.
It's basically virtual reality on the banking on here now.
It's all going
with
online,
the mainstream
isn't it? Okay, Chris. we're just going to take a quick intermission. Finger on lips, sir. We're going to take a quick intermission, and then I'm going to come back and go through today's news and updates from Dalversal. So I'll catch you in a moment. Okay, guys, welcome back to episode 13 of Metaverse Masterminds. Okay, that was a fantastic chat with Peter there, and hopefully it's food for thought for everybody moving into Dalversal and buying up those land plots and planets, and let's see how wealthy we get over the next year or two. Okay, guys, it's time to go through a few of the updates and news reviews and everything with Dalversal this week. So to start off, Dalversal have added a resource library into our back office. This offers official promotional images, flyers, posters, and documents. So what I'm going to do, Winnie, I'm going to share my back office. I'm going to share my screen so that members know exactly where these are, because members that want to build their team, they'll be looking for official documents, pamphlets, brochures, anything like that that helps. Say for instance, you're down the pub, or you go to your friend's house and you want to show them something physical rather than taking your laptop round. You can take these pictures and brochures with you. So let me share my screen, and hopefully, let me click on that one. There, you don't need any audio for this one, so just bear with. I have to turn that one on. My mouse is refusing to work again. There we go. Okay, can you see my... Okay, so basically what you need to do, guys, is just log into your Dalversal account. Click on your username at the top right, and you'll find it right at the bottom of the list there. It's called Resource Library. Okay, and when you click on it, it goes to the material map where you can download the resources. Now, when you click on that, it doesn't go to an instant zip folder. It goes to a menu of everything that you can download, all the different logos on a black background, white background, the logo without the writing, etc. You've got the planets, the different planets in PNG format. Now, anybody that, like our own private Buddykins, she does her own graphics and videos, etc. This is fantastic for her because she can now download the official graphics to use in those videos. So there's your planets. You've got the land plots. I mean, look at these guys, they're brilliant. These are far better quality images than we've been using before. So this is really handy. Now there's some, if you want to download them, and just hide that. Download them and create your own brochures. But look at this, guys, they've thought this really through. don't forget, you can go on auction sites and sites throughout the UK and probably around the world, and you can actually download the sizes for the prints if you're creating your own flags, if you're doing your own personalized events at a local, let's say, community hub, for instance. Lanyards, I'm not quite sure about that one, to be fair. I'm hoping they'll open an online shop maybe in the future. Say, for instance, if they open a shop in Birmingham in UK, are they going to be selling this merchandise maybe? You've got a sub-menu for T-shirts, the T-shirt logos, bags, caps, pens, everything, notepads. Here we are, posters. When this one comes up, you've got a load of posters, event posters, social media posters. If you click on that one, it'll come up with a load more. I think these are quite heavy graphics, actually. I did notice this before. Here we are, brochures. That's the one. That's the one I was looking at. There you go. You've got a fold-up brochure that you can actually print out and fold it up yourself. And that's, say, if you're doing your own events at a local village hall or town hall or whatnot. So, yeah, let me come back into the studio and stop sharing my screen. So, yeah, Winnie, what do you reckon to that? I mean, that's really handy for, especially for Sarah, who does all the graphics.
Yes, absolutely. And I want a pen. Yeah, I wondered if they were going to be actual physical things.
I did think of this before, but I didn't want all the import fees from, abroad. But I was thinking if they are opening the office in the UK, then surely they'll be selling merchandise over here.
They've obviously made them, aren't they? They're not just digital recreations. Or they could be,
exactly.
Could be.
Well, there could be, but they're not too expensive. When we had our business, we had a load of pens made as a promotional item, and they're not that expensive to have them made, So, yeah, fingers crossed that's something that they'll be bringing on. What have we got here? Oh, Planet Sales and Land Sales campaign has ended now, but we can vote and try to get an extension on the land plot sales. Now, I've got to be honest, guys, I took a look at this poll, this voting page before I came on live this evening, and I think it's around 80-20 in favour of bringing the land plot sales back on board. So keep up the good work, guys. We want a few more plots, yeah, because this helps our release rate on our what do they call it, 3x. Say for instance you've got your pending rewards. Basically, if you've got a bronze plot, you get 3x on that. This helps to speed things up. So like I say, I think we're all in favor of that. So let's see if Dalversal listens to its customers, its members. That Sarah, I'm going to ask Buddykins. She's probably already beat me to it, but I'm going to ask Buddykins to put a link in the chat box for the Dow Voice Telegram. No, she hasn't. But yeah, I'll get Buddykins to put a link in the chat box for the Dow Voice Telegram channel, and that's where members can go and vote. Would you like more land plots? Now, what that means is, instead of having the ability to have one stone, one bronze, one iron as a standard ownership for a set amount of time, like the campaign that's just closed, we can buy up to 8 bronze and 3 iron, or whatever, 6 iron and 3 of the others, or whatever it was, giving us that ability to earn more, okay, in pending rewards. And like I say, coming up to Christmas, I think that would be quite a good, campaign to promote. What else have we got, Winnie? The Hyperverse website. Now, I think we did touch on this last week because it all seemed to hit us like a brick wall, where the Hyperverse website domain name was expired, okay? And it inadvertently created quite a problem with the Hyper Community website as well, because the Hyper Community website was the middleman between Hyperverse and Dalversal, okay? Now, the latest we can share with you guys, we did understand that those members that have not migrated from Hyperverse to Hypercommunity, we did at the time, we understood that that was a problem. But what we know now is that it is an ongoing problem, but corporate are trying their best to try and come to a solution for that. Okay, now there's nothing that we can do about this, so please bear with us, guys. I've had quite a few messages from members saying, please, can you help me? We're doing everything we can, guys. You know, this is something that's not in our control, and to some degree it's not in Dalversal's control either. Now, I'm going to share my screen and show and read it out, because they did an announcement a few days ago, and I know some members have missed this altogether. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Am I on the right page? No, I need to pop that button on there and come out of there. Just bear with us, guys. I will pick it up. There we go. Okay. So this announcement came out on the 27th. And I'm going to go through, here we are, the responsibility for the fix. The authority to amend this old patch falls under the jurisdiction of the previous project owner of Hyperverse. We are in the process of reaching out to them for a resolution. However, please be reminded that this could be a long-term issue without a proper fix. Current efforts and uncertain timeline. While we are diligently working to improve the user experience, all necessary resources are used to address this issue. Unfortunately, we must inform you that there is no definitive timeline for when these issues will be resolved, as the matter is currently beyond our control. Okay, so that's just reading out the main bit that I wanted to share with you guys. Okay. Just confirming, let me come back into the office a second. Just confirming, my mouse does not want to work on this mouse pad tonight. I don't know why. Just bear with us, guys. Okay, we're here. Just confirming that Dalversal have made an announcement about that. I had one member, I gave them the announcement to show them 2 days ago, and they contacted me today saying, has it been fixed yet? It's not going to be fixed that quick, guys, but what we can say is we do have that reassurance from Dalversal that they are trying everything possible to make this easier and faster. They haven't said they can't do it. What they're saying is they're trying to speed that process up. Okay, so we've got to give them that bit of slack. Okay. Moving on, we've got the announcement of the Metaversation with the Great Nations. It's a global event that the Bureau of Forefront are hosting tomorrow at 2 p.m. UK time, that's Greenwich Mean Time, with some of the top corporate VIPs from Dalversal, the regional advocates, some team leaders and special guests. We're all coming together in a live broadcast. So that's 2 p.m. UK time. That's on the Bureau of Forefront YouTube channel. Now, we do have some special guests from the audience that will be joining us in the Zoom channel, okay, but the majority of people will be on the YouTube channel, okay, guys? Links will be posted to that later on. Okay, so let me just get rid of that one. Have I stopped sharing? I don't think I have. I have now. Okay, so was there anything else? Yes, there was. Yeah, that's right. Okay, guys, yes. And Sunday night training, we're not cancelling. There was posts go out earlier on thinking that we was cancelling Sunday evening's training. We're not. We will still be hosting that training on Sunday evening. That's a global Zoom call for any members to join. I do believe that's 7 p.m, Winnie, UK time, 7 p.m. I think we start that now. It was 6, wasn't it? But we put that hour later to 7 p.m. So 7 p.m. GMT time. We'll be doing that Sunday evening session where we'll be doing the basics of the game plan. we'll also be opening the room up for Q&As. So if any members have any problems, any questions they want to ask regarding the platform, please do come along to that as well. Ask us any questions. So before I go on, I've got another little video to play, and then I'm going to go into congratulating 10 winners. We had some more winners this week. In fact, just bear with, because I haven't seen it come on the ticker yet. We do have to thank, let me see if this, yeah, here we are. A big shout out to Rabal Elite for their generous donation of 5 rocket boosters. Many thanks. Now, you guys just saw that video from the Bureau of Forefront with a rocket booster. Basically, it's a buy me a coffee. It's the same thing, but you can call it what you like. So the Bureau of Forefront thought it'd be a great idea to call, instead of having a coffee, we'll have a rocket booster. Now, what that does, guys, you know, it's fantastic that people offer us these donations, because it helps with overheads. Not only that, but it sets us up to, like, the NFT winner, Limsrock. We can announce Limsrock as an NFT winner as well. Where are we? We did have something. There we go, on the ticker. Congratulations to Limsrock for winning the Bureau of Forefront NFT in last Sunday evening's global community call. So every time we can give something away, it does cost us gas fees, and those fees have to come out of the Bureau's wallet, okay? So any small donation goes straight into the Bureau's wallet, and that's what that money gets spent on, helping us to help other people, you know, giving away NFTs, prize draws, and so forth. So what I want to do at the moment, I want to play you this little video and then announce the 10 winners from Dalversal that won the 50DU contest. There was 10 winners there. And Winnie's got a great big smile on her face. You'll find out why soon. So I'll be back in a second, guys. Okay, guys, welcome back to the studio Metaverse Masterminds, episode 13. Well done to all winners last week who won 50DU from that airdrop. And I can tell you guys, this is going to be a regular weekly airdrop, apparently, from Dalversal. So if I just share my screen, I've got some names here that I'd like to give a shout out to. Let me just share away. Have we got a Telegram up? Sarah, yeah. Okay. Number 1, our very own Trucker Fletch, Chris Fletcher, came in number 1 in the winners list. Well done, Chris. Came in second was Abdullah. Attila came in third. We had a number 4. We had a 4th prize winner, Dave Thomas. Floyd Tucker. Miss Transformer, that I dare say Miss Transformer's watching this evening. Well done. And our very own, now then, let me think if I get this right. Elite Private Winnie Skibbs. Have I got that right, Winnie?
That'll do. Yeah, Elite Star Lord. Tonight I'm being Elite Star Lord.
That was it. I can't see the screen because I'm looking at this.
Elite
So,
Star.
yeah, okay. Congratulations, Winnie. You came in 7th winner. Number 8 came in with Austin. Alex Loka came in 9th and 10th. Hang on, I've got to wait till this goes down. There we are. FX Saken. Now, I'm not going to say that how it sounds to me, but But I think we all get the gist. They came in 10th. So congratulations to all those winners. Well done. And like I say, anybody can win that 50 DU. So next on the stage, we'll bring Trucker Fletch, because I do believe Trucker Fletch was actually one of those winners. Where are we? I can't bring Trucker Fletch on screen. Sarah, can you assist? Can you try and bring?
Wow, what's going on?
It won't come on. Okay, let's try it this way then. There we go. There we go. Little glitch in the matrix there. Good evening, Chris and Fred. Trucker Fletch and Fred, you was one of the winners. Congratulations. What do you say to that then?
Thank you very much. Every little helps, and that really has helped. I used it to boost my whatever it was up. You know what I'm
Your
like? I
stone
can't
plot.
remember. Who?
Your stone plot.
That was him. Yeah.
Yeah, because right, okay. For viewers, that are regular to the channel, you'll know that Chris has had 2 stone plots, and what he's been doing is one's maximum 100 DU, and as that releases 0.6 DU a day, what he's been doing is accumulating that and topping up his second stone plot. So that 50 DU, Chris, that must have come in really handy, yeah?
Oh wow, yeah, it's boosted it up massively, and I actually put it onto me plot without any help. Did it myself.
He did.
I'm getting good at this.
Excellent. He did, because what I've been doing in the last couple of add-ons, I've been logging in with Chris to make sure that he doesn't do anything wrong. I thoroughly expected you to ask me to do it yesterday, Chris, but the only message I got from him is, "Who's a clever boy then?" With a screenshot. And I thought, wow. So Chris, congratulations, mate. You know, you're coming on in leaps and bounds. And so that add-on brought you up to how many DU with that stone plot? One's at 100. That brought you up to what on that one?
86. It
Was it 80?
It was one of them moments. Do I press this button or not? And I thought, go on, be brave. And I pressed it, and it went. And I went, wow, yes, awesome, I've done it. And yes, it has made a big difference. It means I'm just waiting for 14, I think it is, to chuck out the other one. And once that other one's chucked out to 14, that'll go on, then both will be level. And then that's it. They're linked in together. And
well, because they're both on the same account, they'll both be giving a daily reward. One will be a little bit less than the other one, so you can join them together, add them up, and put them on. Now, one little tip that I'm going to tell Chris and the viewers here, and General Kev is no expert. I'll tell you why, right? I was at the same stage as Trucker Fletch with the 2 stone plots way back when we first started, and I made a schoolboy error. Okay, and I'll tell you what that was. I can't remember what amount I had on my second stone plot, but I got myself in a position where I couldn't add any more. So maybe 80, no, it'll be 92 or something like that, 93. Yeah. And the problem is, when you reach that amount, guys, you can't actually add any more, because it's got to be 10% or more of your staked amount, but not any more than 100 DU. And I was sat there scratching my head saying, why can't it go on? I didn't realize that it's got to be over 10%. So my advice to Trucker Fletch now is, for your next add-on, if you're at 86 now and you need 14, your next add-on, I would wait until you've got the full 14 to put it on. Okay, so you don't fall into that trap that I did, because at 86 you'd have to have a minimum of 8.6, okay, which would take you to the same position that I was in, where you can't add any more. So, you know, just be careful of that. I know it's cents and whatever, but it all adds up at the, you know, at the end of the day.
Well, my hands are deep in my pockets now until they give it a couple of weeks, and I'll just keep looking, but I'll not touch any more buttons because I don't want to break it.
No, but how do you feel after being able to look at it and think, courageously enough to have a go, because let's face it, people do lose things with crypto. They send it to a wrong wallet address and so forth. Do you feel as though you're a little bit more confident in doing things like that now?
Yeah, it has given me a little bit more confidence. I come off here and I was singing and dancing around the front room like a wally, and Ellie went, "Dad, it's a doddle of a thing to do." And it's like, yeah, but this is me. I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to ring up Kevin and say, "Can I share my screen and see if I'm going to do it right?" I thought, nah, I'm going to give it a bash.
That's it.
50 DU isn't millions, but if I'd have lost that 50 DU, that's a long time. I would have been waiting to build it up. So
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a shaky finger moment, but yeah, I went for it and it worked. And it's like, right, what's the next thing I could start fiddling with?
I think, well, you've got the right attitude, Chris, to be fair, because once you conquer something, the brain says, right, okay, next step. It's like a hurdle, like hurdles. If you cross the first hurdle, you prepare yourself for the next hurdle and you're looking forward to it. I like it. I like that a lot. So yeah, let me just have a quick look through the chat box, and then I want to talk about the next thing with Chris. Is there any questions popped up, Sarah? Winnie wants
just
a
quick one for Winnie. I've just seen Winnie's message and said, "Hello, Ellie. Hope you had a lovely birthday." She's got a thumb up. She's still a bit shy in the background, but she says, "Yes, you did. Thank you very much."
Good. Probably our youngest viewer, which is very cool. Super.
Okay, I'm going to give a quick shout out to these people because I feel a bit rude not shouting out.
Yes.
Mila, hello Mila, and welcome to the show. Adam, paramedic, good to see you here this evening, sir. Star Cookie B12, hiya, great to see you here on board. Buddykins, hi, I saw you a lot today. Mick and Malcolm, good evening. Buddykins, there was another name here. Let me find out where this other name was that I missed. Okay. Dengalios.
Dengalius. Is it Dengalius?
Dengalius, yeah. I don't know how I stumbled here, but all of you look so fresh. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope you've liked and subscribed and you come again, because it's great to have you on board. Mick Malcolm again. Deep Singh. Good evening, Deep Singh. Winnie again. Yeah, and back to Mila. And Ellie did have a lovely birthday. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the next thing I want to touch on was Sunday evening training. Okay, because I was talking to Chris in the week, and I've got to be honest, guys. Let me tell the viewers what we do. And obviously for that member there that's fell upon us somehow, that's great, fantastic. I don't know where you found us, but just keep sharing. And, this is a great show that I want to, give to everybody so that they can learn as we evolve as well. So what we do, the Bureau of Forefront, we host this community chat show every Friday evening. We also do a training session. It used to be just for the African region, covering all aspects of Dalversal and the ecosystem, and in general, Metaverse questions. Okay. Now, since last week, we've evolved into a global session on the Sunday evening now. So what we've done, we've opened up that platform where any member of the global community can join us and, listen to our presentation, bring any queries our way, and we can help them with that. And some of them often lead into assistance through the week as well. So even if you think it's a big problem, please do join us on a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. They're plastered, the promotional videos and that plastered all over the Telegram groups and Discord groups, so you shouldn't miss them. But one thing stood out really, really well last week, and it was our very own Trucker Fletch, because I didn't think that Trucker Fletch would go to these training sessions. I just thought he enjoyed the chat, the community chat side of things. But while I was presenting, I spotted him in the audience, okay? So every now and then I kept looking, and his focus was so intense on the screen, I wondered what I'd done wrong. I thought I'd maybe not had a shave, or what was he looking at? And it wasn't. It wasn't. This guy was so engrossed in this training, it was unbelievable. But I never said a thing, okay? When I spoke to Chris a day or two later, in fact, no, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring Chris on and he can tell you what he thought to that training session. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Kev. Just quick one. Anybody that can see me on here, I can't see everybody that's speaking, so please don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not. Thank you for being here. Right, the training thing, I'd looked at it. Kev mentioned it the other week about this training thing, and I thought, yeah, I've seen these before where you get lots of people on the Zoom and they're all ga, and it's all going over your head. I watched it, and literally there was so much information on there. Kev can tell me one thing and it goes in there and it just flies straight out the other because there's not much in the middle to stop it. But when I was watching that the other night and they were putting diagrams on there, I'm like, that makes sense. Now I can actually see it. And I was absolutely enthralled. And it was brilliant. And I took some screenshots and I showed my daughter, and Ellie went, wow, that's brilliant. So she's going to watch it this week. And normally I'm an ex-petrol tanker driver, and we were in the classroom every other week, and we used to get lessons and this, and a lot of it was like, just went over my head. I knew what I was doing, and it was just got fed up with seeing it. But this was so interesting, and it highlighted things that people can maybe tell you, and it doesn't sink in. But when you see it on the screen in a diagram, and it's like, wow, I haven't actually been over the Zoom, played it back to watch it, but it was absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, this program that they do tonight and the one on a Sunday is drawing me away from the evil little box in the corner that I like watching my soaps. But this, I thought, well, I'll give it 10 minutes and see what it's like and just sit in the audience. And it was absolutely brilliant. And I learned so much in that hour. My advice is to anybody that's little bit like me, is like, oh, this is a bit like walking in mud. That wasn't. And it was so educational. And I come off and I told my daughter, I said, that's awesome. It's like not being back at school again, but I'm learning lots.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward to on Sunday because it was something else. So anybody that finds it a little bit hard watching these Zooms, trust me, I'm the first person whose ears are shut, my eyes go down and say, I'm not watching it. It goes over.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It was something new, but it's learning how to do it. And it was brilliant. And he hasn't paid me to say this. This is me being honest. And it was like, wow, because I've spent so much time in classrooms with my job. And this was far from it. It was very interesting. It was very easy to understand. That was the main thing. It was easy to understand. It wasn't just a boring Zoom blah, blah, blah lesson.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It brought you in and you wanted to know more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. If anybody wants to watch it on a Sunday, I definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it because it's so easy. It's not all this gobbledygook technical stuff that a lot of these people at the top try and throw at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the everyday average person that helps us understand. And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for that, Chris. Right, why did I start doing that? I started doing that for the very same reason as what Chris has just explained, okay? Going back to the Hyperfund and Hyperverse days, it was the same for me. All we got was slideshows, okay? We got presentations and they read what you could see on screen, and it literally went in one ear and out the other without absorbing what was actually being said, okay? Now, the thing is, it was all well and good looking at the slides and looking at the figures, and I got the bit that, you know, you put one lot in, you get three lot out, etc. But there was no fun in that. There was no real way to identify what was on the PDF document in relation to what you was looking at on the screen. Now, this is why I do both. When I'm presenting, I always get the PDF document and go through one slide. And if it's necessary, I'll go to the website, to the Dalversal back in my account, and I open my account and show people exactly what relates to the document. Okay. And what Trucker Fletch is describing there is what I struggled with back in Hyperverse, because there's that disconnection of reality of what we are meant to be doing, as in understanding the platform. Anybody can deposit funds, anybody can purchase a land plot, but to understand it thoroughly, and let's face it, guys, even I do this sometimes. When you're looking at the website, because the back office has got loads of things to look at, when you really dig deep, there's plenty to do. And I'll see one part of it and I think, I'm not quite sure what that means. Go across to the PDF, have a look, go down. You know exactly which part you need to look at and absorb that information. Yeah. So presenting is a lot more than what we're used to. Anybody can show a document on the screen, anybody can read it out. But true presenting is getting people to understand what they're looking at in real terms. Okay. Which brings me to another thing that I found the other day. It was done in the upgrade, and thank you, Dalversal. Whoever did this is an angel, and I'll show you what it is. And Winnie, when you see it, I don't know whether you've seen this or not, but I'm sure you'll agree. This is a great little update that they've done. So simple, but it works. Let me, okay, can you see that material map? Yeah, okay, that's not the page I want. Right, now, when you go to your invite page, here we are. Let me just get rid of that, hide that. Don't know why I can't get rid of that. Can you see that tab at the bottom? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's irritating. I don't want to close it because I might close my restream. There we are. Has it gone now? Okay. Right, guys, this is what I found, and it's such a simple upgrade. We all know how to find out what rank we are. And in this account here, my current ranking is expert. Okay. Now, the next level is elite. And this has always caused of concern for people and confusion. Now they've made it so easy, it's unreal. Because what they've done, they've put requirements for the next level. It didn't say that before, it said something else. But 2 of 1 I've cleared, 3 of 1 I've cleared, but this never said which actual planet was required. It now says which planet is required in order to upgrade that to elite. The Iron Age plot is required. If I purchase, which I will be doing in the next 24 hours, purchasing an Iron Age plot for this account, that will go up to 100%, and that will change to elite. So did you actually know that was there, Winnie? Because I didn't until the other day, and they've sneaked it in and not told us.
Was that right? Yes, I was. I did look at that recently, but I hadn't noticed that it had changed.
No, it didn't say iron land or iron plot or whatever. It just said level something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And that's what I couldn't work out. I think it said level 3, which is actually iron plot.
Okay. Yeah.
You've got your stone, your bronze, your iron, so it would add up as your level 3. But it always confused me. I thought, it's iron. I'm sure it's iron. But now they've changed it to actually say which plot you need in order to fulfill that process. So yeah, thanks, Dalversal. Very simple upgrade, but that is, helpful to people like me that's got not a lot between that ear and that ear.
Rubbish.
So yeah, that's that. Have you got anything to bring to the table this week, Winnie?
Well, I probably did. I wrote some things down, but I think you've covered them all, really. Yeah.
I think we've
Just-
covered pretty much.
Yeah, I was
most.
going to just draw. It's great those training sessions. I was just saying there's something about the power of people being together that makes it easier to concentrate, and people asking questions that you might think are silly, and then someone else asks them, and
Yeah.
going into the back office and seeing that stuff. It's just really helpful.
That's right. And
getting right in there, and so like, oh yeah, you always see something that you missed, and
yes.
they're just great.
And it's when you start digging, do you find things like the resources? I read about them, but I didn't realize the link was in everybody's account. It wasn't until I went for a dig around. I go for a dig every day. I always have a good look round, see if anything's changed. And that I found in the bottom of that accounts area. I just thought that was, on the Dalversal website. It's not. It's in everybody, which is great. We've never had that. We never had that with the previous platforms. It was, I do believe it was on their website. I think it was on the Hypernation website, but I don't think we ever got it ourselves. So that opens up another door should any of us want to do the physical training, like I said, at your town hall or community centre. Because I've often thought, I mean, like, we live in a hotel here and we've got full access to the room, for instance. So we could host about 10 members within this room, no problem. If we had a, white screen or projector screen or a whiteboard, something like that, we could easily do that and use those resources. So another tick in the box for Dalversal. Let me see if there's any other questions. Anybody got any questions? We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live, Bureau of Forefront, or Metaverse Masterminds Live on YouTube. We've also got a live feed in our Discord server. So if anybody's got any questions, just tap them in there and they come straight into our studio for us to read out live.
I've just checked my ranking.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm not expert. I'm not elite. I'm a Wally, but I'm getting there.
You'll be still classed as a novice then, Chris, I think.
Yeah, probably. I don't even know how to get on it yet, but I'll be getting there.
That'll be just until you get your first bronze plot, okay? Mila's put, great session. I always learn something new. Do you know what, Mila? That's fantastic to listen to, because so do we. So do we. And that is from some people like yourself, members of your, from the community. And this is why we always say, feedback within the chat box. And where was that poll from, Sarah? Was it? Oh, it was last Sunday after our training session on Sunday. We had a poll, a survey, and that survey, what it did, there was 10 questions in it, and there was pretty simple, a variety of questions based on Dalversal and the products that they offer and the platform that we're on. And what that did, that helped us. Members won't understand how this survey is vital. It wasn't just a case of if you get them all right, you'll get entered into a draw for an NFT. Limbs Rock won the NFT, so obviously that was a great bonus. But they're invaluable to the Bureau of Forefront, because what they do, they give us a really good idea of which areas members' knowledge is strong and weak. Okay. Now, Winnie, can you remember? I've had a few sleeps, and if I think about it, I will remember. But can you remember two of the weak areas within those 10 questions? I don't know whether I did. I think I gave you. I videoed it. That's right.
Yeah, one of them was.
I
know. With the number of people that you could have in MySpace, that was one, and the other one was the number of. There's something to do with the daily rewards that were released from bronze. Was that right?
That's right. Yeah, I
Something
remember
about the
now.
way you worded it in a certain way, so you had to really concentrate and think about it.
Right, guys. Anybody that's got a live chat handy, and I know you have, so don't say you haven't. Right. Answer this question. MySpace Premium. Okay, so this is for anybody that's got an NFT. They bought the premium version, not the free version. In the free version, you're allowed 15 members, and I do believe up to 30 minutes. Is it, Winnie? 30 minutes in the...
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or 40, probably 30.
But this question was, how many members does a premium pass holder get to host in their MySpace? Is it 20, 200, or 2,000? Okay, guys, so anybody with a chat box, don't be shy, fill them in. We're not going to hold it to you if you get it wrong. 20, 200, or 2,000. How many members can a premium pass holder, so that's an NFT holder for MySpace, how many can they host? Now, we was quite surprised that quite a few members got this question wrong. So we want to cover these things. We're not saying it's your fault, not at all. If we identify these areas, we can help you move on, guys. The other question was something like, I haven't got the question in front of me. So it was something like, what benefits do a planet owner have over a normal member within Dalversal? Was it 3x on a bronze planet, infinite rewards with a stone planet, or land tax rewards, or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping that we're not getting any answers.
No, they're all
4012. That's the number, 4012.
4012.
40-12.
Well, okay, without wasting any more time, the answer is actually 200. And we got rid of members with all the same, average amount. So some people thought it was 20, some people thought it was 2,000. So we just wanted to clear that up, guys. The answer was 200. Okay. And the other answer was that the member had, the planet owner was able to receive land tax from people that stake land on their planets. Okay. This brings me to a new rule that's come in today, Winnie. I just wanted to bring this into the program while we're on it as well. So let me just share the screen again. We might as well share this with the viewers while we're on air. Let me turn my screen on. Now then, we will be, is this the one? Okay. So this is an update, dive into the latest. So to achieve the desired rank. Now then, I can't explain this because this is part of a answer to a question. And I haven't got the slide. I can't share that. Right, basically what it was is you don't lose your rank, okay? Let me try. You haven't got that slide anywhere, have you, Winnie?
I'll just have a look.
Just have a quick look, because basically what it is, it's a new, in fact, just bear with me. I might be able to find this.
I've got the email. Will that help?
Yeah, basically it's for people that have ranked up, okay? They don't have to keep that rank. They can actually, as long as they've hit that rank, say for instance, you've reached, in fact, what I'll do here, this might be a better way of doing it. Let's go to, now then, we'll have to go and open. Let's open this 10th deck. And what I want to do is go to your rankings. Here we are. Okay, so let's, for instance, say we are elite, okay, and we evolve into master, which some of our members have got the master rank now, okay. Now, what they've said now is you don't have to retain all these ranks, okay, as long as you've had them all in the past, you can let them lapse. Elite, the bronze and the iron can actually lapse, and you still receive generative rewards from your downline. Okay, you've got to have them both. You've got to have had the iron land and the bronze land. Is that right, Winnie? Just going back to that ruling. To achieve the desired rank, the user must have an active downline count. Downlines must own at least bronze land or higher, and at least one of these lands must not be completed. So it's got to be active. It's got to be giving you rewards. The user must own or have previously owned all land types corresponding to that rank. If the land is completed, will my rank be downgraded? No. Now, this was the big bit. You won't get downgraded if you don't keep those plots active. So going back to the slide, what that means is if you've got a bronze, an iron, yeah, and you've now got an electric, you don't have to keep those active. You can actually let them lapse if you want to, because you've already had them. Okay. Let me go back to here. Without the 28633 land subscription limit campaign, can I purchase electric land if I'm not yet an epic? Yes, you can. All users are eligible to buy any type of land depending on the current land subscription limit. So it's made it a little bit confusing because there's so many campaigns on at the moment. Okay, so what that means is any member can purchase electric land. Okay, everybody's entitled to at least one, but don't forget in the campaign it was 3. You could actually have 3 of those electric lands. But what this new rule states is that you don't have to keep your bronze and your iron active if you don't want to, but you will still keep those rewards from your downline. Let me just come back into the studio and stop sharing. So did that come across right, Winnie? I got my tongue tied a little bit around it, but it's not an easy one to learn.
No, it takes a bit of reading and rereading, and
it does, yeah. There was 2 or 3 questions went back and forwards with my node manager to try and get what it exactly was. And like I say, as people get to that point, we'll be able to work with them with that. But yeah, it's an interesting concept because people, in my mind, I would like to keep one of each active anyway. I think it's good to keep a bronze, an iron, and an electric if I've got that far up yet.
And there was also the aspect of not skipping levels, wasn't it? That came in originally. You could go straight from novice to elite by just buying an iron land but not getting a bronze land. And that's
right. So in effect, have they got rid of that now? They've stopped the skipping.
Yeah, so you have to buy. You do have to buy a bronze land as well as an iron land.
Right.
But if one of them expires, that's okay, as long as you've had one.
So that's right. Yeah. So before it used to be you could buy an iron land and you didn't have to buy bronze. That's right. Yeah. But now what they're saying is you have to buy it at least once. Okay. And if you do let that lapse, because let's face it, as your assets build up, maybe it's best just to get one of the bigger ones. But this stops you from just jumping straight to the top. You've got to go up those steps of the ladder, so to speak. So yeah, an interesting addition to the new rules. And like we say, guys, these are coming out all the time, and we're working, behind the scenes with the members of the Bureau, with our Planet Node managers, and then we'll work with you guys, each and every one of you, as you get to that stage, if that's what you want to do. So have we got any other questions in the chat box? I don't think there is.
No.
No.
Yeah,
Been a great meeting, and that talk by your hubby Winnie, Peter, that was fantastic, because I think talking about money and the value of wealth, I think it's a really important aspect of the ecosystem that we're moving into. So let's bring Trucker Fletch back onto the screen. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Chris?
Yeah, just a quick one. Going back, you was talking about the Dalversal produce some brochures.
Yeah.
Would those brochures be telling you about what Dalversal's about? Because if it is, that will be handy for friends like mine. I was telling you about the friend that wanted to join, but it was something like that they could got in the hand that can actually read it instead of me telling them.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea. I'm well impressed with that.
Yeah. I mean, promotional material is great because, like I say, Sarah does, private budding. She does a lot of our promotional material for the Bureau. And now what they've done, they've brought all this out to help us, help people like us, and help people like yourself, because a poster, I mean, even a poster, you never know, your shopkeeper guy might, if he does come on board, he might put a poster in his shop. That'd be awesome, to spread the word with his customers. But yeah, you can use that. That's why they've put it in everybody's back office. You're free and able to use that as any form of promotion that you want to share this with your friends and family or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, definitely a brilliant idea, because it's okay telling people, but when they've got something they can actually read and see and they've got it down in black and white, that's better than just somebody telling them what it's about, because a lot of the time it goes in, it comes out. And when they can see something, proof from the company, in writing from the company, it's better than just us giving them word of mouth, because they've got something solid to look at, something solid to go on to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little bit, how do you put it, more professional.
Yeah.
It's easier for them to understand.
Let's face it, Chris, we've got a very wide, diverse, audience, and it's global. So, what suits one member won't suit another. So somebody might prefer to read a brochure, whereas somebody like yourself would rather come to a chat show like this, where we can actually one-to-one with our viewers, so that we can chat things through. We can give live examples. What else have we got? I tell you what we have done. Buddykins. I don't know whether she'll have the link for the issue presentation for our accounts. What Sarah decided to do was create a brochure. And now what that is, it's a interactive magazine with all the information about what stone plots do, what planets do, what benefits that you get as a planet owner, a planet node owner. You get your own node manager, etc. It's all in this. It's like a brochure, okay, and it gives the viewer or the reader. It's interactive. It's online, and they can turn the pages. Like shopping magazines and so forth. Yeah, it's the same thing. So what she did, she's just posted it in the chat box. So what she did, she took all the information, and rather than creating a promotional video, which she's fantastic at doing them as well, she decided to do an interactive flip page booklet that actually hosts YouTube videos as well within that booklet. And what that does, it goes through the whole kit and caboodle of what Dalversal is, what members can do, how they join up under other people, which obviously includes our invite links as well, and what the whole benefits are, including MySpace, the avatars and everything. So it's like a storybook. It's a flip page storybook, interactive, where people get all that information from, but you can base it on your own version of what Dalversal is, rather than the company's. Yeah. So what they've done with this material is they've given us those logos and everything to keep it uniform. It's their brand. So you've got to keep their brand as it should be. Do you know what I mean? So fantastic, piece of collaboration with the members. Let's face it, we've never been with a company that have worked with the members so close as what Dalversal are doing with us. So yeah, that's a great addition to it.
Wow, that is great. Yeah, I just had a look at that. That's excellent.
We years ago, I mean, we're talking about eight years ago, maybe something like that. We used that very forum to publish our own local magazine for our own county, and we was using that as an advertising forum and everything. It went really well. We had people advertising in it, and that's part of the business that we was running at the time. I think it was only because we moved abroad that we closed it down, because obviously we weren't living there at the time. But yeah, it's another great platform to use to gain attention for what we're doing over here. Right, Guy? It's 10.
The more, just quick one, Kev,
Yeah,
the more
sure.
people get involved with it, the more they see these shows and see so much more. There's so much more that's going on with Dalversal. It's massively, massively, massively better than Hypernation. And I think once people have seen a couple of these shows, been to the ones on the Sunday learning, they'll realise there's more to it than just when are we going to get our money back.
Oh yeah.
It takes it way out of the league of that, and it brings you into, so there's so much more involvement, there's so much more to do, there's so much more to learn. And once people get realizing that, and they've seen a few of these, like me, the penny's dropping, and it's like, wow, I'm learning more about this, and it gets you more involved. And the way Dalversal are bringing us in on it as well and communicating so brilliantly, it's making it realize it's a proper community, and it's working.
Yeah.
It's working better than anything else we've had in the past.
Yeah.
It's so much more. The more people come on board with it, the more it's going to grow, and the more we're going to realize that there's more to it than just claiming money back.
Yeah.
There's more to building money. There's more to making our futures better.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. I'm well chuffed with it. And the last, I've been on here, 3 times now?
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I really am loving it. I'm not paid to say that. I speak my own mind. And I came into the crypto world to make a better future. And what Dalversal's doing for us, and the way we're learning, the way that it's definitely given me massive more confidence. Ellie's watching it as well, and she's learning because it's going to be her future.
Yeah.
She's only younger, but this is her future, and she's learning, and I'm well impressed with it. Really, really am.
So what you're describing there, Chris, is wealth. You're becoming wealthy because what you're doing is creating your future. You're creating a community of friends and people across the globe that you're getting used to. People are seeing you online. They're seeing us. They're seeing Winnie. And that is a form of wealth. When you know you can turn to people that are going to help you in this ecosystem, that is one form of wealth that nobody can pay for. Okay.
Knowledge is wealth as well.
Exactly. Now, this is the next bit that I'm coming up to, and then we're going to call tonight's show to a close. Okay. So what I'm going to show you guys now is tomorrow's call. Are we live, Sarah? With the Metaversation? Okay, so what we've got going on tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. UK time is the Metaversation with the Great Nations. Now, we've already hosted one of these, and it was an absolute bomb. It went great. Now what we've got 4 members of the Dalversal team. We've got CSO Ash, Incubator Neo, CMO Mohammed, and CEO Jonah Glasgow himself. Together with them 4 prestigious members of Dalversal, we've also got regional advocates Dorian and Sergeant Meng. We've also got Daniel from Italy, Sergeant Deborah from Africa. We have Marco from Italy, and we've got African Region Representative King Ben, as well as myself, all coming, and there's many more coming on board as well, who's got questions to ask Dalversal. And all this is taking place tomorrow p.m. UK time. Live stream, it is via Zoom, but the general public will get the live stream with the live chat to speak within that chat. And within that Metaversation with the Great Nations, there will be 3 TFA pluses to give away. Now, let me come back into the studio. Okay. There will be 3 TFA plus to give away. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let our esteemed Trucker Fletch explain a little bit how he gained. I can't swap it again. Just bear with. That's better. Right, Trucker Fletch, what was the biggest thing that you noticed difference when you won your TFA upgrade? There was a daily increase, wasn't there?
Yeah, by winning the daily upgrade, it increased it by, I think it was 10, whatever it was.
It went up to 10.
It did. Yeah, it did. It definitely made a difference, and it's building it up quicker.
That's right.
So yes, it definitely made a difference.
Okay,
definitely.
So what Trucker Fletch identified was he was on the TFA standard, and because of his involvement, he was chosen and nominated for the TFA Plus. So I'm giving you guys an idea of what that TFA Plus does. TFA standard gives you a 7.5 DU per day to go against your TFA to speed it up. Okay. TFA Plus members get an extra 2.5 a day. So you'll be upgraded to 10 DU a day or 10 points a day to speed that TFA process up, that release rate. So it's phenomenal. And I'm going to come to, yeah, I am. I'm going to put Winnie right on the spot now because I do believe our statistician of the Bureau has got the figures for this, because I think you said this the other day. Is it 200 days to get to 30% or 100%? And you did work it out what it would be with the TFA Plus. Did I see? Was it you?
Yes, I did. I'm trying to remember. It's certainly several months.
Did it knock it down to 166 days or something?
I could have a look right now. It's definitely 200 days for the standard, and I think it's
Now was that to reach 30%?
Maybe for the TFA. It's quite significant.
It was. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot there, but it was you, wasn't it? Because I know somebody had worked it out, and from that 200 days, was it 200 to get to the withdrawal stage?
200 to get 200 to get to the withdrawal. Yeah.
And I've got a feeling, if I remember right, by having the TFA Plus, it knocked it down to 160 or 166 days, something like that. And that basically is a what do they call it? Passive user. So there's no downlines or no speeding up other than the TFA Plus. So yeah, it does make a significant difference, guys. So even if you haven't got a team, that added bonus of having a TFA Plus will help somewhat. So there's 3 of them to give away in that call tomorrow. So yeah, I think that was the figures, wasn't it, Winnie?
Yeah, so I just found it. So it's 200 days to get to 30% charge when you start getting withdrawal for the passive, and it's 150 days for the TFA. So it knocks a quarter of the time.
There we go. Adam's put it in the chat. Cheers for that, Adam. I thought it was somewhere around there. That's right. It's 150 days to get to 30% with the TFA Plus. Excellent. So you've knocked a quarter off.
Quarter, isn't it? That is a quarter.
I mean, that's that's a quarter. It's 25% faster.
A month and a bit to over 2 month and a.
That's a significant speed up. So I would recommend everybody try and get to that call tomorrow. And like I say, it will be a simple way of entering. You will be required to do something. I'm not going to say what it is because that will spoil it for everybody. Okay, come along, find out for yourself, and put your name down, guys. Put your name down. Appear. This is all Trucker Fletch did, and that's what happened to him. He managed to get his TFA Plus, and like I say, it all works and it helps. Okay, I'm going to bring Trucker Fletch back on for these last words of this evening. It's 9:50. We've got to that 2-hour mark again. Okay, Chris, have you got some last words for the viewers tonight?
Yeah, what Winnie's husband said was spot on.
Yeah.
It gives people a lot to think about. The world's a different place out there, and it's every day's changing. And provided we can keep up with it and keep ahead of it, if everybody gets involved with this, we'll be making a good start on it. And yeah, if anybody's spoken to me about me, I'm sorry I haven't ignored you. I can't see you on the thing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next week. And I'll probably see you on Sunday if you're about. Thanks for being here.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. And I'm pleased you enjoy the Sunday evenings. That's great to know. Okay, Winnie.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here, Chris. Also, I'm really glad you're on the show. It's great. It's great. And I want to say join the Dow Voice thing, because there's 50 DU to win every week just for joining in, which is really worth doing. And
again, that's just engaging with the community. Sarah's just posted it in the chat box.
I mean, they said it was just random the way they were picking. So I think, I don't know, I did a lot of emojiing. I went through a lot. I don't know, but yeah, go there, and it's good. Well, it's also really good because they've got polls, and it's a way of having a comment or saying, I think this should happen or this should happen, and it's all in one place rather than the main group where it gets lost, I think. So yeah,
exactly. And don't forget, we're all looking for consensus on this platform, and what a brilliant way of doing it, because what you're doing there, guys, is you're having your voice heard. Okay, you want to vote for more plots, get it down. There was 80% last time I looked, and this is the way that the community will listen. And like I say, I'm a big advocate of consensus, getting people's voice heard and going with the majority. This is where things have gone wrong in the past, where people haven't had their voice heard by those that are in control. And like I say, even though these are in control, they are working with us very closely. So we've got that opportunity to create the future that we're walking into. It's like Trucker Fletch says, the best thing that we can do is get these open and start listening, start communicating. And it doesn't matter whether we're 5 miles between us or 50,000 miles between us. Our voices are heard and we can make a difference, guys. Okay, I'm going to pull the show to an end. It's been an absolute blast again. I love hosting these shows and talking to you guys. And many thanks to Private Buddykins in the background. We didn't have a wave off you this week, Sarah, I don't think, but we've got a wave now. Thank you, Sarah, for everything you do in the background there. And thank you for all the viewers that have turned up tonight and chatted to us in the box, and hope to see you Sunday night at the training session. Okay, guys, you take care. Big love from General Kev. Good night and God bless. Bye-bye for now.